Guys, we will continue, guys. Then right now we have some issue regarding this error. So because we cannot find when we try to debug, guys, this one gets hold on for a while. This one I added for our SendGrid, and then our what they call this classic SMTP. These are all initialization what they call initialization configurations, guys, from the Sulat package. So this one under the func init of the root.go file. So I added this block of code here. Okay, guys, so this one I miss out because we cannot send an email also. Right now we try to debug, guys. The problem is I will enable first regarding this exec command. This exec command, if you have some space, early on we have this like a go copy md. This is some kind of a limitation from a command, guys, but we can do something about this. We can because as long that there is a white space in between there, like this is your task name, right? This is our task name, guys. So right now it treats this as a new command as long that it found a new space here. You just leave a comment below, guys, if you are interested to to contribute about this our project here in Maharlikan's code. But at the moment this is the current limitation, because if we this block of code here is to debug whatever the exec command returns to us. So for example, in this case, I will try to run to simulate the problem. We will try to go build here. Let's see, this one will treat something like a ts notify. As you can see that the ts notify, oh okay, the task status, I think it never, oh okay, hold on. As you can see, guys, that when I try to run again, okay, ts notify, as you can see that there is a exit status 1, which is a invalid argument option, which is the copy md. This copy md is from here, guys. This go copy, then there is a white space in between. The exec that command treat this as another arguments or another command for this SC task query. So right now there is some limitation when you create this. When you create the task item here, guys, this one is just a naming, guys. This one, when you remember, most of the items here don't have the white space. This is the quite limitation also from here they have, but because maybe they are Microsoft, no just kidding. Most of the thing don't have the white space, because every time it will treat as another argument or another command there. So right now what I did is I created a new task, but the white space I removed and replace it with the underscore. So this is the this is a bit limitation on this task scheduler item here, guys. Regarding, then we need to read from our ts notify. Then this is a limitation for our software here. But right now this is a, shall we say, is a band-aid application. Sorry, band-aid solution for a while, guys. Okay, sorry about just kidding. Okay, guys, so we need to change this to go copy underscore copy md from our task name. Okay, so if I remove that, we just try to simulate, then I will build again. Let's see what will happen. Okay, then it will found the data, guys, no errors something, then it will return because there is no white space in between there. So this is just somewhat kind of a limitation, but definitely we will enhance this ts notify in in our probably in the future, guys. Okay, so right now we just continue on with our goal. Okay, so I disable this block of code is very important, guys. When we try to debug this exec command, whatever it returns there, we will know exactly what is the problem. Early on we only see that there is a exit underscore status 1 only, but that one is a very generic error, but we do not know what's the reason behind the technical errors that it will be thrown from this exec command from Golang. So okay, so now we know exactly what's the error, what's the problem. So I can just remember this, guys. This is very important. When you want to debug this exec command, whatever commands that you pass on to this exec command, it will throw by using this std error, std out, and then std error command. This one all built in from Go. So right now we just want to disable first. So okay, so we will continue with our testing. Right now I also modify a bit here our task SCM status, guys. This one is I added this log dt here, which is we need to have some buffered time to resend email notification. I will show you later, guys. I will explain to you. I added this new one. When we go to this definition here, I added this as a int64 because I want to store the buffered time that we want to resend the email notification to our recipients there regarding this email recipients here, guys. So right now I just put one at the moment for better testing, and then we can add another email here also from support.ipaskill, which is my site, guys. This is a classified ads in the Philippines, which I write personally. This one also I develop using the Python and Django language, guys. Python programming language, and then the framework is the Django. But no worries, we will work on the Golang also. This is one of my old language, which is the Python and the Django there, but I want to work on the Golang because simply I like the way Go they have their own web server also. So later on we will deep dive on the web server on the specifically in the Golang, guys. So in the web development there, we will create our new package or something. Okay, so later part we will in our future tutorial series here in Marlika. So stay tuned for that, guys. Right now I added here, and then I will put some buffer time for our testing. This buffer time is I will explain to you later, guys. So we don't want to spam the recipient's emails there. So and then I'll add this condition also here. I added this log dt here, which is from the datetime, which is from our Golang's map there, our collections. I remember that we have the database there as a memory database, so we store all this information there, and then we check if the buffer time is already expired based on the current time. Then we always compare the current time here, which is converted to Unix time. Unix time is returned with int64. It's like quite long characters or quite long digits there, the numeric, but actually that one is a time. Then we simply pass on all these. If the current time is greater than, if the current time now converted to a Unix int64 type, become integer, and then based on our last record that we have sent, then we can change this status here so that we can add into our existing map. Then we can notify straight away here, guys. So this one we can we don't need this to be in the go routine, and then only this main function, what do you call this one, I disable for a while for the millisecond. I will try to test for 5 seconds first, guys. Every 5 seconds it will check. This one is our go routine, so we'll go on top. Now this is a go routine here for the method number 1. We don't want to the notify me function, we don't want to make it as a go routine, because straight away we can send from this function here. This is our main go routines for the method number 1. So this is a go routine here. So then we have some time.sleep for our testing purpose now. Later we will send this as a millisecond also. Okay, so okay, then after this the check status, the log dt, and then all these things. Also here in our notify me, I added this also because we need to replicate the new data but with the true is sent value here, which is that means that our email already sent out or broadcasted to all the recipients from this config.yaml file here. This is the monitored task here, this one. So right now we only have one task for a moment. Okay, so we will just I disable this also for our testing. Now we can probably enable this one no longer in use, so that we will not waste our resources, guys, particularly this what they call this SendGrid email. Remember that we always have this 100 only. So okay, guys, so we will continue. So I will build this again. Then I know we are eager to see if it is working or not. Okay, so we will continue. Right now we have this go copy. The status is currently ready. We only interested on the status when it comes to disabled, guys. When this go copy item that we schedule has been disabled based on our status here. Okay, guys, so if it's disabled or something or warning, this one I don't know, no one knows the exact errors there, because here we cannot there's only disabled or ready. It's up to us, guys, but the most critical part is the disabled here. If someone disabled this critical item that we schedule to run every certain interval, then we immediately notify our recipients here. So we would like to send automatically an email. So okay, guys, so we'll try to build again. Let's see, we will run this. It will clear everything. Remember that we have the heartbeat of at least 5 seconds at the moment, but we can increase that to make it more faster. Okay, guys, so I will run this ts notify run. This is our new command. Now it's listening, guys. I display a moment our thing, this what do you call that we capture. Now our exec that command is totally working, guys, so we can capture the ready, always the status there. Every 5 seconds it will capture the whatever the status here. Now as you can see, guys, I will try to disable now. Let's see, I will disable in 3, 2, 1, and now I disable, guys. Take a look on here, the status has been disabled. Now email sent to Politz, and then my support email in the hyperscale there with the task name, then the status is disabled. So right now there is a heartbeat also, there is a buffered which is 11 seconds, guys. So I will just off this first. Control C. Remember that the Control C here. Press Control C from your keyboard to stop monitoring the Windows Task Scheduler. Only from this command prompt, guys, in the console. So right now I should receive some email here. So this one or my previous one. So now, okay, now I have this, guys, the copy here, because I in my support.epascal email is I auto forward to my main email, which is dispolice@live.com. So this one is just a replicate, guys. So this is my original one. So right now, because we remember that we sent two, okay, so this is my first one, 1247. So right now the hi police, this is the standard message, guys. Now it's totally working, guys. The task scheduler status alert, this is our subject here. From which computer that you are using or installing this TS Notify software that we have here. Then your setting from harlequanscode@gmail.com. So you can set everything here in our config.yaml file. And then this is the standard message here. Please be informed that the following task scheduler status triggered an alert from this computer, and then server in which the status of the following task has been changed. So I have this kind of a small table here, which is the task name, and then the next runtime task status has been disabled. So this is an auto-generated email from the TS Notify system. Please do not reply. So anyone that is under the recipients, guys, is police@live.com is one of the recipients there, or whatever you put there, they will receive this kind of email saying that this task item has been disabled. The current status now has been disabled. The next runtime is not applicable because this one is disabled. This one we cannot do anything because this one is from the task scheduler by itself. So right now we receive this kind of email, and then my another email, which is the support the Epascal, has also received the same email regarding this one. So it will be notified whatever the emails there. Then we can from these recipients, guys, then they will all be notified immediately. So okay, so our software now is totally working, guys. Okay, so I will try to disable the thing first. I will change. Hold on, guys. Where is this thing? This one I will no longer needed this. So we will continue regarding this one. So our buffered time here, for example, I will just say you can set this into the configuration thing, guys. If you want, you can enhance this if you want, guys. So right now I just set this is our additional time. We can add here in our additional configuration here, guys. So you can add like a buffered time, and definitely we can enhance this in the future. But right now our main goal is to check this current status here, so that you can set the configuration, guys. So whatever the buffer time to resend an email, because this one is a quite sensitive status there, then went quite critical, so we need to keep sending an email. But please remember that this one must change, guys. This log dt here, I mean there is a expiration like at a buffer time here to resend an email. I put a note here, guys, to resend an email notification. So it will just keep sending, because if the status here is still disabled, then we are interested on like how is still disabled. Okay, so we will run again our program. Let's see, we will try another way. We can test further. Okay, I will clear this. I will run again, guys. currently the status is disabled. So immediately when you run the application, guys, automatically it will capture, it will send automatically, guys, an email. As you can see, it's sending an email right away when you run, because the current status meet the current criteria, which is the disabled status. Now this will send now when I enable back, let's see, it's ready. So it's just like this, guys, but you can beautify this console here. But remember that this one we will execute this under the OS, under the Windows OS service, the Windows service. So right now it don't send, guys. As you can see, it never send, but the status is ready. It never meet in our criteria, which we are really interested when the status change to disabled or fail or warning or whatsoever, guys. Now I want to change this to disabled. If someone try to disable or something else, disable this item, which is very critical for you, then I will just disable back. Let's see what will happen. Now it's automatically sent also, guys. As you can see that in our testing here, now is another email here sending. So every 1 minute it will be, now I change to 1 minute, then it will keep sending. Again, take a look on the left side, guys, the TS notified. I will try to enable back. Okay, enable back. So it will not keep sending the email. We need to check the email there. Now I have a few emails here. Just now we disabled. Okay, disabled. There is a current time also. No, because it's from the email. And immediately we will send an email, that's why. So okay, guys, so when I enable back again, disabled, it will send another email here. Yeah, now it's sending, guys. Okay, the heartbeat there is 5 seconds. Now we plan to change the heartbeat there back to the almost the real time. You can change the heartbeat here, guys. So this one will keep looping, keep listening to that what they call this task scheduler here. Okay, so we will clear all the email first. This just empty. We will see. Okay, and then I need to clear. TS notify, then the current status here. I will just enable first, guys, so it's easy for us to know. Currently is ready. So when I will run this, enter. Now we change the heartbeat to 300 millisecond. You can reduce to 10 millisecond. It's up to you, guys. So right now for testing, this is decent enough for a real time heartbeat, guys. But if you're very critical application, then you need to lower down the value there instead of the 300 millisecond. Now I'll try disabling, guys. Now it's almost real time, guys. As you can see, there is a 300 millisecond delay. Okay, so if then we have the buffered time. But if this status never change, if you're network administrator or system administrator, or even you as a developer, then you can try to if you still not no action from whoever is whoever maintain this, then it will keep sending at least 1 minute for a while, because we set this in our program. But definitely we will move this out to a config.yaml file. So maybe you can have that. We will do that, guys, as an exercise. So you can just leave a comment below if it is working. then you can just move that value there. Instead, like now is the 1 minute already, guys, so now it's the buffer time send again, so it will wait for another 1 minute again, then it will send. If I enable this, and then it will not send back, guys. It will not send. Now I want you to do some exercise or something. To do some what I call this status here. If you want, you can what is this? Hold on. Where is this thing? This one, guys. What I'm talking is you can put the value there. Okay, you can put the value here, like another kind of setting, or if you want, you can add another one here, like the buffered time, or something like a recent schedule, or interval, recent interval. Then you can have like for example, we'll say it's we will treat this as minutes, or minutes probably, guys. It's like 30 minutes. Then we will say this one is in minutes. Then you can monitor, you can add again this from this setting, this struct. Then you can add this new field that we need to check and look for if any values from the user there. Then we can just replace here. Leave a comment below, guys, if you're really interested in doing this, then you can have it. Okay, guys, so now our thing is we receive this kind of email from our notification. Okay, this one, all the task name. We will do the same in our next tutorial series here, guys, in Maharlikan's code. We will do the same for this one is more on the generic side. Now we will do on the more other side, which is called the event viewer, the task scheduler, event viewer under this operational. There are only two, which is maintenance and operational type. At least in this case, we need to use event ID. In this case, like 142 is a task disabled, and then there is a date time. These are more detailed error message here, guys, like what is the log time, what is the critical level, which is now is the information or warning or critical. Then there is a quite detailed information here also in the description here in the general tab. Okay, and then this is our task scheduler item. So we will tackle this discussion, guys, in our second method here in TS Notify series. So we will do the same, then but it's quite different, guys, regarding this first event here. Okay, so first method, so we will do the same. Now our program is totally working, guys. So okay, so because right now I changed the value there, so we just CLS. I actually saved this. So we will this one is we can enhance, but now we don't do this at the moment. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for watching my video here, this tutorial series in TS Notify tutorial series. We will do the second method in by using this. We have done this, the task scheduler by itself, and then we will do exactly from the event viewer type here. So we can capture from the task scheduler, and then under operational. These are all from the task scheduler also, but more detailed based on the event ID, because here is quite detailed type of error message, guys, for your for example, from our demo here is go copy MD. So we will do exactly what is the error message. There is an equivalent value for each event there, which is the event ID is 142 is for the task disabled, 104 is for the logon error. That one is more critical error. Okay, then the warning there is 325 for the queued. Okay, so there's a lot of event ID here that we need that more critical error that you can play around, guys. You can just add on from our config.yaml file under these monitored events. So we will do the same, like here is quite different. Is you need to take care whatever is the 102 errors there, 104 or 325. So these are all we will do in our next schedule here in Maharlikan's code. Thank you so much, guys, for watching my video, and I hope you learn a lot here in Maharlikan's code. See you in my next video. Kindly subscribe to my channel so that you can have more videos like this and you will be notified, guys. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless us all. Thank you, and bye bye.